I'm going to be comparing the Benjamin AKELA to the Kral Arms MP03. With that said, I'm going to compare the similarities and the differences. Also, shoot these at 50 yards from a full fill to see if the claimed shot per fill. To start off with the similarities of these rifles, they're both made by Kral. The Benjamin AKELA is rebranded to Benjamin and imported, but is made by Kral, where this Kral MP03 is also made by Kral, but imported by Air Venturi. Now, with that said, you can see that they have the attachment where you could put the Picatinny rail underneath the stocks here. They're almost identical. Now, on to the differences. The Benjamin AKELA has a Foster fitting quick fill port, whereas the Kral has a fill probe. Even though these are made by the same company, the magazines are different and will not interchange, but they are very similar. The AKELA magazine is just thinner and will not fit on the Kral platform. And as you see, the Benjamin AKELA has a Picatinny rail, where the Kral has a dovetail and Picatinny/Weaver rail. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that they are both side cocking levers with Kral's signature transfer port adjustment, as you can see. But other than that, they're almost essentially the same rifle. One does cost more, and that is the Benjamin AKELA, which is around the $600 price point, where this MP03 and other Kral models are under that. And this model, the MP03, is actually around the $400 price point. So what's the biggest difference here? Well, the Benjamin AKELA has a 5-year warranty, whereas the Kral has a 1-year warranty. Is it really that big of a deal? Well, hopefully at the end of this video, we'll see if it seems logical to have this Benjamin AKELA over this Kral MP03, or vice versa. So with all that said, let's get a scope on these rifles and shoot at 50 yards and see if the claimed fill shot count is achieved in this cold, windy temperature day. The MP03 with the JSB 1589s and the Benjamin AKELA with the H&N 1589s. Both guns love those pellets and they shoot those remarkably well. But that is in the shot curve of each gun. Right now, I'm going to be shooting the guns at the fill pressure at the shot count that they claim. So, the Kral MP03 has a 2,900 PSI fill, and the AKELA has a 3,000 PSI fill. The AKELA claims to get up to 60 shots, and the MP03, they claim about 32. So, let's get into it. It got so windy it blew my target and my tripod over, both of them. All right. Last 12 round magazine. See what the gun's at. About 150 bar on the last 12 round mag. Come on. Woo.
Surface a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something.
Well, that was 36 shots from a full fill on this Kral MP03, and we are at about 120 bar. From a 200 bar fill. Now it's time for the AKELA from Benjamin. 60 shots, 5 12 round mags. Oh boy. Okay, so now up is the AKELA with the same scope using the H&N 15 grain Barracuda, 15.89 grain pellet. From the very start, this rifle loved these pellets. So, start here with the first mag. Got the chronograph on the barrel. Let's see what happens. First mag down.
Sometimes it gets so mad, there's no control. All my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head.
Oh, there goes my camera down there.
That I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change.
Okay, set up now.
Let me show you what's up, 'cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so that I can taste it. I know there's no turning back.
All right, I got the magazines loaded up here. I'm gonna do a third magazine and I'm gonna go down the range at 50 yards and check the groups out, compare both guns as is. It's not only super windy today with constant 20 mile an hour winds up to 40 mile an hour gusts, it's in the single digits again here in Indiana. Real world conditions, guys. Okay, that was 36 shots with the AKELA. I don't think there's no point in going to 60 shots or 2 more magazines, because if you see the downrange camera down there, the shots are just all over the place. And I can't stress this enough. This is what happens with unregulated air guns. The pressure and the hammer are not in balance every single shot. Once it gets below a certain pressure, it starts to shoot all over the place. That's why you only get a certain amount of shots, almost regulated, when you shoot in the shot curve of a unregulated air gun. Now that varies from volume of each air cylinder. And the more volume you have in an unregulated air gun, the worse the shot spread is. So I'm gonna go down there and measure the groups as is with 36 shots, comparing again a real Kral to a Benjamin made Kral. You can see there's a significant difference. So the Kral MPO3 shot a 2 1/4 inch group center to center, and the Benjamin AKELA shot a 4-inch group, all shots center to center. Even in the wind, even with the wind blowing my cameras over, during both shooting sessions. So there's no takeaway here. The fact is, the Kral MPO3 is just a better gun than the Benjamin AKELA. The valving system to me is way better out of the box, like I expressed in the review of the Benjamin AKELA. If I'm gonna buy a Kral, I'm gonna buy a real Kral. Now again, you get the 5-year warranty, but is it really worth the extra money if the Kral accuracy is better? That's up to the person buying these guns. But in my opinion, again, out of the box experience was not that great with the AKELA compared to the MPO3. And you can see downrange, there is a significant difference in 36 shots. And with that said, in the chronograph, there was a 70 feet per second spread in both 36 shot groups, and the MPO3 was just a hair better with the standard deviation of. But the big difference here is that the air cylinders are different, and the valving is tuned differently because of the hammer. You need more hammer spring with a gun that has a bigger air cylinder to fight that, to get the most out of it. Whereas you don't need that stiff of a hammer spring in a gun that has a smaller air cylinder. With that said, that's just the nature of the beast of unregulated air guns, guys. I hope you understand this right here, what happened with all those shots. Again, even though the box claims you get that many shots, yeah, you can pull the trigger that many times, but that doesn't mean anything downrange at what you're trying to accomplish. Especially at 50 yards, a 2 1/2 inch group or so is really not going to get you nowhere unless it's spot on every time. Now again, both these guns were shooting a couple groups, you know, a couple pellets were going almost in the same hole or touching them. But that's the thing, you have to figure out your own gun. And again, from my experience with both of these, I would rather have a Kral, a real Kral, not just a relabeled Kral, and Craftsman has nothing to do with it, or Benjamin I should say. But anyways, I hope you've seen what I was talking about in this video. I hope it was a good comparison for you. As always, I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.